Let's take a closer look at that data from CNBC's exclusive Holiday Central survey. And the chief survey guy is our senior economics reporter, Steve Liesman. He'll break down the numbers for us. So, lots of people re-gift, and the wealthy are more inclined to re-gift than people lower down on the income scale?
We've been debating this all day, why that would be. You could posit that maybe they're wealthy because they're frugal. In general, that may be the reason.
Maybe.
Mark Haynes, the illustrious Mark Haynes, seems to believe that these are people who have everything. You give them anything, it's double what they already got, so they're free to pass it along.
So they may have more to begin with, or they get more gifts.
Exactly.
And the more they have, the more they want to give away.
They just give it away. The other thing that's interesting here, Tyler, is that the regional differences were pretty. It's in the West, 15% of Westerners have or plan to re-gift. But it's not done in the Midwest, where it was just 5%. So maybe a little
is that right?
cultural
That's
difference when it comes to
interesting.
re-gifting. Of course, you know, this all came about 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld coined the term, although I found out by looking it up on Wikipedia, where there is actually a re-gifting entry, that it was Johnny Carson who made the ongoing joke about giving away the fruitcake multiple times, where the initial idea came from.
Is that where the initial idea, according to Wikipedia?
Exactly.
I'm fascinated then that the people in the West are the most avid re-gifters.
Right.
And the people in the Middle West, sort of the heartland of the country, they do it less.
Don't know why that is, but it's statistically significant. We found a lot of regional differences. And when you talked earlier, you talked about the spending number of $935. Amazingly, coming from behind and winning the race, or if you want to call it that, for those who plan to spend the most, those in the Midwest. They're going to spend an average of $1,020 versus under $1,000 for the Northeast and under $1,000 for the South and the West again. So where this strength comes from in the Midwest is a bit of a puzzle right now. And I must say, it's nice to have this opportunity to talk more in detail about this survey, but nobody, as far as I know, has done this sort of tracking during the holiday season. So it's a new survey. We've just introduced it. We're very, very proud of it, obviously. But the main thing is that the progression was as follows. Started off reasonably strong, dipped down in the middle, and then surged at the end. We can talk about any number of economic reasons that might have been behind that.
But again, what's interesting here is that the Middle West is going to spend, those households are going to spend the most on average.
I was reminded of my interview on this channel right here with Michael Moscow. I said, Mike Moscow, you're out there talking hawkish about inflation, and yet your region is thought to be one of the most economically downtrodden in the country. He goes, Steve, that's old thinking, he said to me. The Midwest is more than just auto manufacturing or Rust Belt manufacturing in general. He said it's a service economy. He said, as I travel around the region, I get different outlooks here. I get a different story from Minneapolis, where there's more service, and in Chicago. But in Cleveland, of course, things might be a little bit worse. So I think one of the things we're finding out is a certain dynamism to the economy that we didn't necessarily know about.
You know, the jump in what people actually say now they're going to spend, now that they're into it, from what they were saying they planned to spend the first time we did the survey about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then an intermediate one, is really significant. 30% more than they initially thought.
You know,
even with discounts.
It's amazing. Jim Connor down there, one of our managing editors, assistant managing editors, coined the term desperate husbands. Mm-hmm. And what the data show, what the data show, Tyler, is that it's men who are going to be spending more, and obviously who have done the least amount of their shopping. They leave it to the end. We found that in the second survey. So there's a couple things that could be going on, and we can sort of just discuss and really just theorize about it, because we will never really know. Mm-hmm. One is, as you head back, you do your last-minute shopping, you end up saying, the heck with it.
I gotta get it.
I am not price sensitive, inelastic when it comes to demand from an economic trend. On the other hand, think about this. I personally went into Costco, cruising the aisles, going to get my big boxes of stuff that I get, but I always got to pass those TVs, okay? I didn't do it this year, but I passed those 42-inch plasma television sets, and there they were down at about $1,200, getting within, close to being within reach. Did people who went into the stores see big-ticket items heavily discounted and say, well, you know what, at this price, I'm ready to make the jump? Not part of their holiday spending plans, but they went and did it anyway because they were price sensitive.
And therefore, the number goes up.
Therefore, the number goes up, exactly.
But I'm really with you with that idea of the desperate husband. That's a great term. Because I think as you get closer to the day, and I did this in my own experience earlier this week, you go, you see something, and you go, okay, that's it, boom. I don't care whether it's X $100 versus X minus. if I had really gone and shopped for it.
Our survey, Tyler, has you down to a key.
They got me.
They got you to a T. Men between 18 to 54 are not price sensitive. They do their shopping late, and they don't care or about discounts very much at all.
Now, I've worked around surveys and done surveys like this several times in my long and ignominious career. But my hypothesis is this: that in part, people go into the holiday season saying, I'm only going to spend $680, $720, or whatever it is. Right. And are going to spend as much as last year, less, about the same. More of them will say, I'm going to spend about the same or less than actually do when all is said and done. Mm-hmm. And that in truth, when people go out there, they don't really know how much they're going to spend. And they probably, if we'd done this survey every year, I'll bet you there would be very few years where people did not spend more than they thought.
Are you giving me the okay to do it next year, Tyler? Because I really want to.
Yes, I think we should.
It's interesting. Think about this as a game, okay? And the game is, the retailer reaching for my wallet and me trying to protect my wallet and to keep to my plan here, okay? Mm-hmm. Who's the pro here? The consumer or the retailer? And it's the retailer who's the pro. And they have all kinds of methods where they make you do just what you said people do. They go in with plan A and end up spending A plus.
That's right.
And that's what happens. And it's very difficult. You go in and there's stuff, calling you from all different methods. And I don't want to make too much of this, but the idea is you can't say that people won't spend until you know the price they're not going to spend at. And what I mean by that is, again, getting back to those discounts. Yep. Look, at $1,200, will you do it? Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, fine. That's the price. Then this plasma TV I was not planning to buy, sign me up.
Yeah, that's right. Or the flat screen computer monitor. This is all part of what I describe as the Target phenomenon. I cannot go into a Target and not come out with more than I thought I was going to buy. Same thing at Costco.
I have one at Home Depot where, for some reason, I go in for a little bag of 89-cent screws and I end up going out with a $50 bill.
Yeah, that's
I don't know why that is, but that's part of what's going on. Now, not to say consumers
I'd love to see you at Cabela's, by the way.
Oh, yeah, well, that
would be a whole other
sight
passion.
to be seen.
That's a psychosis.
One interesting element out there, which is, we think that Christmas is coming to an end, right?
Yeah.
Shopping hook, wrong. The data we found, the survey showed that 16% of Americans will do some of their holiday shopping in January. So I'm talking about both sides of this game here. Consumers are not dumb entirely either, in that they come out, they're going to wait till some of the discounting, so they will wait to do some of their shopping. And in fact, the government's retail data, if you break it down, it shows a greater percentage of total retail spending happening, or a rising percentage, happening in January at the expense of November and December.
Is this partly a gift card effect, or is this separate and apart from that?
Part of it's a gift card effect, but our question should not have picked up a gift card effect, because we asked, do you plan to do some of your holiday shopping in January? And we said yes. Some of the government data will pick up the gift card effect because of the accounting rules that mandate that the gift card cannot be accounted for by the retailers until it's
redeemed.
And speaking of gift cards,
I was going to ask you. Didn't we ask about gift cards?
We sure did.
And whether people like gift cards or whether they feel
Amazingly, people generally indifferent. 63% of Americans don't care if you give them a gift or give them a gift card. Mm-hmm. Now, what's interesting here is, should I give a gift or a gift card? There's some other economic research, Tyler, that shows people generally undervalue the gift you've given them. Mm-hmm. So if I give you a gift that cost me $100, you probably think it was worth $80.
Is that right?
That's what the economic data show. Okay? So now think about what the better gift to give is. Give the $100 gift card,
and then there's no dispute.
There's no dispute. There's no question as to what you thought it was worth. There weren't many differences. There were some differences where it seemed as if men between 18 and 49 in this case preferred to receive gifts. Slightly more, 4 or 5 percentage points higher than the average. But I just think, these baby men, they want you to have thought about that.
Does Tiffany's do gift cards? I bet they do.
On your way, Tyler.
On your way, yes, exactly. That's where I'm heading later today.